I'll say something else that might be a little bit controversial.
Fuck it, let's say it's controversial.
But I see a white woman having a half black son.
You hate it. You hate it to the core. You hate it.
I don't hate it. I just wonder.
Can't stand it.
I just say, why would you do that? Being white is hitting the lottery. Being a white man in this country is hitting the fucking lottery. And you took that away.
He ruined it?
All you had to do was mate with another white person, and your child had all of the opportunities and benefits afforded to it by this society that we live in.
But you're not really white, though.
The word white comes from...
You're not Caucasian, you're Asian.
I'm Caucasian because descended from the Caucasus Mountains, which comes through old Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Iran.
You know, Turkey and Russia's that's Asia, right? So you're Asian.
Not the way. Yes.
But you're Asian American. Let's be clear. You identify as white.
I'm white. God damn it.
All right, so welcome back to the Bareback Podcast. I'm your host, Willie James.
Bareback.
I have I have an old guest and a new guest. Y'all all know Ash.
What up, brother?
Silhouette. My light's ain't right now, but we got a new guest, Diego. Diego, say what up, man?
Oh, hey, Curtis, how's it going? Should I get close to this mic? Or
Yeah. Make sure.
Welcome aboard, Diego.
All right, so first things first, Diego. Is Ash white?
I'd say there's no definition by which Ash would be a white man.
All right, so are you done? Are you done being a white man now?
All right. Well, when I fucking have to check off a box when it's when I got a classification, I have to click on
Asian.
white Caucasian.
No, you have to click on
You're
Asian.
Asian. Definitely Asian.
Yeah, but when you say they want you to be a freaking.
You're Asian.
They'll specify. Usually, if it says Asian, they'll have a follow-up, which is like they'll make a differentiation between Korean and Chinese.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll make room for you, Ash.
Okay,
right.
I'll look into that a little bit.
All right, so
What's your daughter gonna be?
My daughter's mixed. She's a non-Hispanic, Latino, Korean, white.
Wait. Question though. So are you Jewish?
No, I'm not Jewish. When the people in the street ask me if I'm Jewish, I have to explain to them that I'm not Jewish enough to count for them. I've never practiced Judaism. I never had any mitzvah.
How about your heritage?
My father's father was Jewish enough to be sent to a concentration camp.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's deep shit.
Oh, he survived though.
Okay. I'm gonna start. Yeah. So you're Jewish, not by religion, not by practice, but you're Jewish by blood.
He's Jew.
Listen,
Ish.
yeah, I'm Jewish, right?
Jewish.
It's like one out of four grandparents is Jewish, and
So-
even he was kind of like very on the border.
So you're a white Latino,
Yeah.
Jewish, 3 times minority. Oh no, two time minority, 1 time majority. You're definitely white, right?
Yeah, but listen, like the whiteness, if you look at my grandfather, he looks white, is white. It's like he didn't want to go to the concentration camp. He didn't feel any affinity towards Jewish identity whatsoever.
So white. Are they Semitic or are they just white?
Well, not by appearance, but yeah, he was probably an Ashkenazim.
Ashkenazi, right?
Yeah, I think so.
People of my ethnicity thinks Ashkenazis are not real Jews. I know you never heard that before, right?
I mean,
I know the DNA says they are. They be about.
Well, I think first we have to say, like, is there such a thing as a real Jew? And then,
It
like,
can't be a real Jew.
I mean, like, it's a category of people that is arbitrary, right? So some people would say, like, among Jews would look at other Jews and say that person's not a real
Not a
Jew.
Yeah.
So-
But what I'm telling you is, when I say Jew, let's be clear, I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm in this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I know Jews are very sensitive about that shit. I'm not doing that. Like, Jews are the only Semitic people. It's like, you got Assyrians, you got Phoenicians. There's a bunch of Semitic people. So why did Jews get to claim Semitic? That's weird to me.
Well, I mean, they don't get to claim it. I think if somebody said something anti-Arab, you could also call them anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
It's just we got in the habit of using that. I mean, I think it'd be much better if we just said anti-Jewish or anti-Israeli.
Yeah. It's like saying
Zionist.
I'm anti-Zionist. Are
Same
you
here.
anti-Zionist?
Very passionate.
People think because you're anti-Zionist, you're anti-Semitic, which is false. I never met a Jew I didn't like. Jews, they're pretty cool to me. Like gay people.
Israelis too. I'm sure you're gonna meet a lot of lovely Israeli people.
Yeah. See, this is the thing too about gay people. People think I'm anti-gay because I'm anti-LGBTQ.
I don't know what it means to be anti-LGBTQ. Like you don't like the flag.
No, I don't like the political movement at all.
What is the political movement?
All right, so basically, it's basically white people, because the LGBT was started by Harry Hayes, a white guy. He's also a pedophile. Let's be clear. Like, historically, he supported pedophilia.
I mean, I don't know what movement you're talking about, man. I just think like
The LGBTQ movement.
The guy who started the LGBTQ.
they started the initials. He's the first one to.
Yeah, the
Oh,
guy
No. He started and funded the whole movement. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, there's no such. I mean, what are you talking about? It started the whole movement.
The guy who
Gay
started-
liberation wasn't started by a person, right? Like it's
but there's a guy who
who
started-
started
No.
civil rights?
No, the guy
for
who started
blacks.
the
No.
Like,
A group of people.
Was it Martin Luther King Jr.? Like, who was it? There's only one person.
The guy who started the ACLU. The group, the name of the company.
Put it this way.
Who started the ACLU.
I'm using it as an example.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who started the LGBTQ.
If you Google LGBTQ, the founder, it says Harry Hay.
There's a founder of LGBTQ. That's surprising to me.
So you didn't notice?
I was surprised as well. I did the same thing here.
So the guy's a pedophile. He's supported NAMBLA. You know what NAMBLA is?
I know of NAMBLA. Yeah.
So NAMBLA is the man boy association.
Love association. Yeah.
Pedophilia.
Yeah.
Not pedophilia.
But NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, and that is essentially what it sounds like, which is a ring of pedophiles and pedasts, I believe they're called, that was in existence for a number of years, forming chapter houses. Back, they had pretty high prominence and numbers back around the 1990s. And here, I'm going to show you some clips of some of that.
Here's what actually happened. I thought I was talking him into it, but later I discovered that he enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, because I had been convinced by people that kids that size aren't sexual. And myself, I really didn't have a lot of strong sexual feelings at 10. But this particular person...
I've substituted work with NAMBLA for actually seeking out relationships with boys or having relationships with boys. Being very active with NAMBLA and having sort of a public profile, it would be suicidal to actually have a sexual relationship, an illegal sexual relationship with a boy in this society right now.
It's a boy love association.
You're saying, like, what's the line that you draw? 18? Like, what's a man?
Okay, we're getting to that now, but hold on. But I want to establish one thing first.
Hold on. You're saying all these things, man, as if like I'm gonna accept that like people are
No.
pedophiles.
I love this.
I'm not gonna fall for it.
No, I agree. And you give it to me, but I want to establish one thing first, though. The NAMBLA is a pedophilia organization.
What's pedophilia?
Pedophilia. So it gets blurry when it's 16, 17, 18, 19.
Because that's not pedophilia.
I understand that part.
All right, let's establish something.
But hold on.
You're anti-gay.
No, I'm not anti-gay at all. I'm anti-gay political.
Yes.
Like, I'm anti-Zionist political. I'm not anti-Semitic. Let's be clear.
That distinction.
The individuals, I have nothing against.
Exactly.
But the agenda and the propaganda, I'm against.
But there's a difference there, because Zionism has a state, right, that operates on behalf of that. Like, the people that operate for the liberation of gays and their acceptance into society, like, there's no, like, group that does it individually that everybody sort of, like, pledges allegiance to. It's a mass liberation movement, as was black nationalism. You got Malcolm X there. You got Martin Luther King. Who's the author of civil rights? Like, It's an organic movement of people coming together and saying we demand political rights. So and to be accepted into society, like, and to not have people like be like gay means bad and all this shit. Like, I think that's a respectable project.
Check it out, right? So you can't compare a gay movement to the black civilization. I mean, you could. I know that
I don't want to, but you're putting me in this position.
But
I don't want to.
But let's have a conversation though, because you could. Yeah. I'm saying, but I'm gonna say why the difference is. See, gay men was never oppressed. I mean, to a degree, they was oppressed, but even when they was oppressed, they still have access to be white. They still didn't have they didn't have no anti-gay. There was no gay Jim Crow. Like,
there was. I mean, if you're found out to be gay, you could be lynched. If you're found out to be gay
in America,
absolutely, man, absolutely.
Where was this?
People are lynching gay people to this day.
No,
man.
they kill gay people. But lynching.
Mathew Shepard was lynched, man.
Mathew Shepard's mom is on the record. She spoke a year after the crime and said he was never crucified to the fence, as many people described him hanging on the fence. He was actually sitting on the ground. His hands were tied behind his back to a fence post.
And I'm sorry, he was tied to the back of a truck. No.
By who?
By a bunch of other anti-gay people.
No, that's false. Mathew Shepard got killed by a drug dealer for methamphetamine, and he was fucking the guy.
Listen,
Hold on, no.
He was fucking a guy who was gay.
No. So you can't be anti-gay. If I kill you, we both gay. I can't be anti-gay.
If they killed him because
it wasn't
he
about
was
gay. No, they used him.
If you're self-loathing, you can.
Yeah,
you know,
listen.
But that's a whole
No.
Okay,
Hold
on. Where are we going with all this?
Everywhere. We're going everywhere
Let's
with this.
stop and take a quick turn. I want to talk about
Can
Michigan.
you mic you better a little bit?
I want to talk about Michigan.
No, fuck that. We don't wait.
I want to move to Michigan.
I don't know Michigan is.
Enough gay.
No.
I'm so gay right now. I can't.
We can solve this in a few minutes. Let's just air this.
Solve that shit,
Hold on. I can't let this go. Mathew Shepard was killed by a homosexual.
But what I just read you just gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the sexual underworld that was beneath this story. And there was a lot more to it. What I discovered is that Aaron McKinney, the principal perpetrator, actually Matthew's killer who inflicted the violence on him, was bisexual, that he was a hustler, that he enjoyed having sex with other males, and there are a number of, well-documented sources on the record named in the book who talk about those experiences. And I also learned that Aaron McKinney and Mathew Shepard had a personal friendship and relationship that existed months before this crime took place.
Okay.
Right.
What happens if that's homosexual, self-loathing motherfucker?
And his drug dealer. Mathew Shepard sold crystal methamphetamine.
Of course he did.
These are all the facts. So he wasn't no fucking angel, and he didn't die. They used him as this fucking martyr to push more gay rights.
You do enough meth, you might turn into an angel.
It doesn't really matter whether he was a meth dealer or not. If he was killed for being gay, because somebody found out he was gay and didn't like it,
that's not why.
He was murdered for his identity.
No,
man.
But see what I'm saying.
Even so, lynchings were always predicated on some perceived crime that this black person committed, right? I mean, lynchings weren't just like, I'm going to take this person and kill him, right? They're like, that guy winked bad at my lady or whatever, right? So they use that criminality as some excuse to execute a person extrajudicially. That doesn't work for anybody, man.
But you're digressing, though.
It's an unfortunate reality, buddy, that when you get someone who's enlightened, they're called a liberal.
Let's go back to the mark, though. Let's go back to the fact. The fact is this. He wasn't killed because he was gay.
I don't know enough.
Hold on. I do. I know about the case. I read about the case. You can Google it right now on your phone. He died because he was getting robbed by a gay man that he had a relationship with.
And so why wasn't he just killed and left on the side of the road?
He was killed. I don't know why he was killed.
Why was he so brutally mutilated? And massacred. I mean,
he was getting robbed.
Was it with these Mexican cartel people out there in North Dakota or something?
These are white hicks, drug addicts who own crystal meth. They do extreme shit. You understand that part, right?
I do.
So, but I'm gonna be clear with you. He didn't die because he was gay.
Okay, well then let's set him aside. Fuck Mathew Shepard.
Right.
I don't care about Mathew Shepard. You're saying nobody has been killed because they were gay?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm not comparing in numbers, right? I'm not saying like that the violence committed against black people in America is exactly equal to the violence that's committed on gay people, and therefore we should advance both causes at the same time, simultaneously, and nobody can take a lead. That's a very like immature way of looking at the situation. I'm saying that gay people were discriminated against. They are still discriminated against in this country right now. Trans people are lynched, man. They are killed for being trans. They are killed for their identity.
They deserve it, though.
Hold on, wait. I'm gonna hold on. Wait. So
I'm kidding. Call the trans out there.
Hold on.
That was a bad joke.
More trans are being killed by trans than other gay people. Mostly trans.
I don't know if that's true anymore, but that was true for a long time.
But to a degree, a lot of trans people die from fooling straight men.
Investigators say the teenage suspect was so enraged that after shooting the victim multiple times, he left and then returned to the crime scene to open fire once again. Police say video from the neighborhood led them to the alleged killer, 18-year-old Orlando Perez, now held without bond. Investigators say Perez had gone home with the victim, 37-year-old Selena Reyes Hernandez, shortly after meeting her on the morning of May 31st. And in her basement apartment in Marquette Park, Perez learned Reyes Hernandez was transgender.
The offender became very upset. He left the residence. He became more upset, and that's when he came back to the residence, and then he brutally murdered the victim in this case.
Prosecutors say Perez returned to the apartment a third time, again opening fire on the victim's lifeless body.
That's true, but that's no reason to kill somebody.
No, that was the case for a long time. That's not necessarily the case anymore.
If I think you're a woman and I have you in my room and I'm kissing you, I'm in public with you, and I'm being seen with you, and you have a dick, I'm going to murder. to that person.
Okay.
It's no.
Yeah, this was true for a long time, but
I'm not having that.
That is not necessarily the truth anymore.
I'm not against trans, but if they fooling straight men,
they're not fooling anybody. Like, you're getting into bed with a person that you're sexually attracted to. The fact that their penis doesn't match or their sexual organs don't match what you'd want at that moment, like, who cares, man? Just be like, I'm sorry, I made a fucking mistake. You don't have to kill the person. They weren't trying to be like, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman.
What they doing.
Surprise, surprise, I'm a man. No, man, they're behaving according to
say
their
you're driving down the street and you pick up someone who's walking down the street pretending to be a woman. And then
what does pretending to be a woman mean,
someone
man?
who looks
like a woman, titties, dressed, talking like a woman, fooling a straight man, not announcing I'm a man.
Dressed up as a woman, you're driving down the street,
yeah.
and she's walking as a prostitute. You pick her up, you bring her,
ass in the prostitute.
You start playing around, and you're messing around with her, and next thing you know,
I should kill you.
How about this?
And there's a dick
How
there.
about this is a policy? You pick up a prostitute in the street and you take her home to fuck. Everything that happens afterwards is on you. Like,
yes,
it's on you.
The murder's on me.
The murder's on you. Right.
So the PTSD that you have from that for the years that come after that is on you.
So, question: Are you queer or gay?
I mean, I think it's hard. I think we live in a very complicated world these days, where, like, in a very ironic way, the people that are most certain about their gender are transgender people. I think that's a problematic thing because I think that gender is really quite fluid. And so, if I say, like, I've operated as a man my whole life, right? It's like people look at me, treat me as a man.
So you're liberal. Definitely liberal.
That's also a complicated word. I think I'm a liberal in that I believe that discourse should be tried before violence, that, like, the facts will speak for themselves, all these things. But am I a liberal, like, hooray Hillary Clinton? Like, no, not even close. And I think there's a lot of problem in the progressive movement of sort of saying that, like, we prefer people being referred to by their proper pronouns as opposed to making sure that people have a job, have a way to, like, feed their families and stuff like that. I think we're in a complicated place. But am I queer? Yeah, I would say, like, by most understanding of gender identity, like, I don't identify very strongly with being a man. I don't identify very strongly with being a woman. I don't really identify even with being a queer necessarily because I think this is kind of like a supplemental thing. Am I gay?
He's good.
I think honestly, gay. I think if you were born and looked like him, maybe you would identify a little differently. I think a lot of it has to do with you just happen to look like that.
I'm a cutie.
You're cute.
Yeah, thanks.
You are. Yeah. For first gay guest, I had a question though.
He's not gay. It could be, but he's not.
I still have time. I have time.
But see, identifying it is completely imaginary. It's not a real thing.
It is conversion therapy. It is aggressive narcissism, and it has no basis in reality.
I agree with that.
So that's not even reality.
Not reality. It's as real as we can get.
You have chromosomes, and then that defines your sex. So all that identify shit is for the weirdos. For the sickles.
Your chromosomes identify certain things about you, but you got to understand, like, chromosomal science is not that black and white. You can't it's not just that there's men and there's women out there. There's plenty of people.
Definitely is.
No,
it's hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites.
Okay, so what is a hermaphrodite? How do they identify? Shouldn't it be up to them? Whether they identify as, or they have to say, like, hi, I'm a fucking hermaphrodite, Like,
I don't think they should identify as either because they're unidentifiable. That's the whole point.
But can I answer
That's why they're called a
hermaphrodite.
hermaphrodite.
So if he takes a hermaphrodite home who looks like a woman, dresses like a woman, and she's got a kind of like a dick coming out of her vagina, right? Is he going to shoot her?
Well, that's a clit.
Is it?
Isn't it?
It depends on him, actually. I don't think it depends on you or me.
So can I answer you about a hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodites are the only people who have the issue with sex, gender. Now, everyone else has an option. So you mean to tell me a person could hold on, you personally, right?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me a man can identify as a woman, and that's fine?
It's not about being fine. First
no,
of all,
no,
what's
hold on.
fine?
Wait.
In the eyes of God?
I want to one thing with him.
Is it in the eyes of God?
He does a lot of...
This has nothing to do with God. This is about science, okay? This just shows you a hermaphrodite, man, woman, how close the differences are. It's like one little tick of a change.
Very little dick.
In the DNA structure between a man and a woman. All it is just one little bloop on the DNA structure that is going on in the womb.
I mean, let's just start with the fact that we're all women in the womb. Like we are women until our bodies start getting androgenized.
We're not women. We're not women. We're females.
Exactly, we're females.
Because a little girl is not a woman.
That's a very good point.
Yes. So
but
okay.
Listen, the whole thing of, like, is it okay? Is it okay for a person who's born with all male organs to identify as a woman? What the fuck do I care? Right? Like, the problem only comes when they force it on me. When they force it on me and they say, you must talk to me this way and you must treat me this way. Then I think, like, hey, like...
That's a European thing.
It's a human thing.
It's not a fucking human thing. It's a white thing.
There's a third gender in India. Like, it's not a white thing.
I'm going to tell you how that's nonsense.
Unless Indians are also white.
Ash. Let me ask you this. So let me ask you this, Diego. If I identify as white, am I a white man?
Doesn't matter what you
No,
identify.
honestly,
as.
hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's fucking crazy. You put a lunatic in my.
Because who fucking cares, man? What is white, dude? Like literally, like you think there is such a thing?
No. White is
White is a system of oppression, if I'm not mistaken. It's not a pigment
Exactly.
because Irish people were suffering the oppression of white people. So you can identify as white all you want. You could put on a swastika around your arm and fucking like Hail Hitler. It doesn't make a difference, man. You're whatever you say you are.
White society won't treat me as a white man.
Absolutely, I agree with that completely.
So you mean to tell me either
and we have a society now that's not going to accept a trans person as a woman.
No, trans people, they're not women. Let's be clear.
It's exactly the same. You're saying like...
it's kind of the same, but not the same. The difference is a white man can identify as a fucking female, and a white woman can identify as a man, but a black person can identify as a fucking white person. And we literally have white DNA.
Hold up a second. Like, we live in a country that has a long history of interrace people that found themselves on either side of the race line, and they were given the option to identify, right? The whole idea of passing, right? Of a person who's black, right, but is white enough to pass in society as a white person and receive the privileges of white. Exactly. So it's like we can accept that it's fuzzy enough in that regard. Or are you going to say those people actually are black? They must be exposed as black, revealed as black, and denied any of the privileges that is given to them by an unfair society that I'm not defending. I don't think any aspect of the society that makes a distinction between a white person, a black person, a woman, a man, a trans person is fair. The problem is with society. It's not anything ingrained in the truth structure of reality that person isn't a woman, so they're not allowed to say they're not a woman.
Just listen to what we're talking about. The fact that we spend so much time ourselves and as a society talking about what we identify as means that we are so fucked as a people. Look at Chinese society. You think they spend any time talking about what they identify as?
They got other problems, Ash.
They got other problems.
We don't know what the fuck Chinese people do.
But they're not worried about what they identify as.
We don't know.
They're out there building shit.
They are.
Listen,
they're conquering shit.
They're conquering shit. They're getting shit done.
Yeah, they're colonizing shit.
They're getting shit done. And we ain't getting nothing done. We ain't getting... I haven't...
Oh, no. We self-destructing.
Yeah, we're self-destructing. Yeah. As a society...
We become a feminine ass,
I'm trying to circle
whining
us
ass,
back to what I want.
delusional ass country.
Where we are as America, we're fucked right now.
You want tough queers. You want like tough trannies.
I don't want queers or trannies at all. I don't want none of that shit. That's not my thing to want. Be who you are, and that's fine. But don't push it on children. Don't push it on the public. The sexuality, that's privacy. Keep it behind closed doors. It doesn't matter to identify as sexually. That's personal.
Well, hold on.
How is that a movement?
Are we talking about sexual orientation or are we talking about gender?
Okay, let me ask you
what do we
get?
No, they're not the same. Because like women were denied opportunity in the workplace, right? So you're saying like, what if a woman starts dressing as a man to get like a decent job or something like that? Like that's not right.
They do.
No, I know that. Listen, I know that they do because they wear power suits and shit like that. But I'm saying like, it's like...
And that makes them feel good about themselves, so let them do it.
But the problem is in the society that's denying them the equal opportunities. It's not in the people opting to make decisions about their appearance and their identity that either conforms or doesn't. I mean...
I don't think people talk enough about the realities as to why women aren't afforded the same pay and the same... I know it's bullshit, but...
Then it's good. Certain things. Like a woman can't be good at let's say powerlifting, big equipment and shit.
What is a woman?
But is that things women could be good at? It's just different. Men are good at certain things. Women different. We're not good at the same things.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not talking about lifting shit. I'm talking about corporate jobs and shit like that. The reality is that people don't talk about it. That women do take care of the homes.
As they should.
Women do have the kids
because they don't build shit. They don't build infrastructure.
I'm sorry, but taking care of homes is infrastructure.
Yeah, but that's what they should do. But they didn't build no corporations. They didn't build no fucking civilizations.
None of it would be possible without them. So what fucking credit? Like, don't they deserve a little bit?
No. They do. And things should be revamped.
The only justice we can get is that women have to be wage laborers and earn as much as men. How about we remunerate women for their fucking work?
Yeah,
for the fact that like domestic work is the most important work in the world.
No, women pick and choose.
As someone who's been taking care of a daughter for the past 3 years and realizing all that shit, it's ridiculous. Something I did not understand and even think about. My mom and my father are now both getting Social Security now. And my mom, something weird's going on with my headphone. I don't know what it is, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, perfect. My mom's getting less because she worked less because she was home taking care of me and my brother and my sister for a longer amount of time. That's some bullshit right there.
Systemic sexism.
That is some bullshit right there. She should be getting just as much as my dad did.
Your dad couldn't have done his job without your mom doing her shit. Yeah.
So you see, why don't you get more welfare than your father? That's what you're saying.
She should get the same.
Same welfare?
The same Social Security that he paid into. Is it?
Yeah, it's welfare.
Fine. Call it whatever you want to call it. I don't give a shit what we call it, you know?
Yeah, it's a public welfare
I said
program.
I said it for a different conversation.
It's a retirement fund, you know?
No, but
why are you against public assistance programs? You don't think people should be helped by their government?
I mean...
They pay into it. The government wouldn't function without
So
them.
so the government. Well, first of all,
I mean, all your cousins would be broke in a week if we took away all that shit.
so check it out. So let's define welfare right quick. So welfare is just assistance.
Yeah.
In any forms.
Any
is
form.
Welfare.
Yeah.
So I ain't say to call your mama welfare. I didn't do the disrespect you ass.
It's cool.
I see your face.
I don't take
I
it.
see your face, but I did it for a reason. In my comment, I want this conversation to come up. Welfare is socialism.
It is.
All right. So we into socialism now.
That's the whole point of government.
But the government picks and chooses who they want to allocate funds to, specifically.
You know who first gave Social
Like
Security?
the elderly, for example.
Do you know who first paid out Social Security?
I don't know.
Prussia, which was basically Germany. Bismarck came up with this back in 1870. You know what the age was that he gave as the retirement?
I don't know.
65.
Okay.
Back in 1870.
Okay.
You know what's the year, the age that they start paying out Social Security now?
I don't know nothing about this shit.
65.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what the life expectancy was back in 1870?
37.
65. 65.
Oh, what? Oh, so he died. Oh, okay.
So the point was to take care of people who were fucking still alive when they should basically be dead. So
Yeah,
they should be paying. The whole point of that was to take care of people who basically couldn't take care of themselves. So they should be paying out Social Security people who are 85, under the whole point of what Social Security was in the first place. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Now you keep going to what you
I got
were
a question for
say.
you. How do you feel about black reparations?
Black people should be paid reparations.
Oh shit, that's the end of that conversation then.
I did not think so until he spoke, and then I was like, oh my God, he's
Without a
completely
doubt.
right. Yeah.
But why? Tell me why though. Why should they?
Well, I mean, I think there's a logistical problem in implementation, but I think we can set that aside because it's about justice and we are willing to make mistakes when we're doing things that are in the course of justice. But black people were brought to this country, they slaved for years, and they were given jack shit at the end.
Oh, shit, okay.
Like there was a promise to them of 40 acres and a mule, and that wasn't given to them. And
So
just like with the Native Americans, every deal was broken, right? I mean,
So
I think
they should get 40
Reconstruction.
acres and a mule?
If there's some way of figuring out an equivalent, I mean, like, you got to understand that, like, after the Civil War, you know, it's like all this land was just going to go fallow without, like, a workforce, right? And it's like the implementation of a radical Republican plan, right, of, like, the redistribution of the land of the South is a kind of almost, like, punitive measure of being like, you guys fucked with the wrong people, you know, like, could have changed the dynamic for black people in this country
I think
forever,
I think
you
black
know?
should have kept the South. I think because we
Absolutely.
won the South.
Absolutely.
We won the South.
I think-
I was trying to ask that before.
Just give it
That's
proportionally.
racist.
Just give it to everybody. Just divide all the states up by the number of people, and you'd still end up with a pretty black South.
You think we should give them like a state?
No,
I think
a region. The South.
listen, I think this country's wealthy enough at this point that like any time that we say like we can't afford this shit, we know it's
can.
bullshit. We can because
We can afford anything.
Even when we can't afford it, we just print new money. If the economy's tanking and all the investors are bailing, just make $4 trillion out of thin air, right? It's like we have the
That's
money.
what you do anyway.
So I think like we just have to help black people in this country in more ways than one. I don't think it's just about like financial assistance. I think there's entire
Systematically.
environmental, like
Yeah.
whole layers of
Yup.
injustice that have been
Education,
brought on black people. And symbolic too, in a way. I mean, I think like we still live in a world that doesn't really have too many ways to represent black people in a way that I think is fully fleshed. I think like recently we've seen movies and things like that I think really give black protagonists and, you know, like a real way to identify culturally with a positive image of blackness, which isn't even about giving them a, you know, superhero or something like that, like a Black Panther, but about showing real black stories and making them accessible to people.
Malcolm X.
And so, yeah, I think like...
I just have a feeling, like, and this is probably a very unpopular view, and it might not even be right, but I just feel until black people embrace white culture in this country, they'll never, and assimilate more towards white culture, they'll never.
That's impossible.
Speaking from a white man, of course,
He's really
you know
white.
about assimilation.
Hold on.
right?
So
These people are never going to be accepted by people in this country.
now, Ash, let's go back to.
I'm saying even if we give
Hold on, wait,
reparations
wait,
to
wait,
those
wait.
people and
No,
all
no,
that,
no,
I just
no.
don't see that
Let's
working.
Let's wait a second now.
But there's non-assimilated communities that do quite well in America. Right?
But hold on. I want to say something because I'm black.
Yeah, please tell me.
My thing is this. You're talking about now after blacks done been systematically targeted by the FBI and the government. They had crack implemented in communities, guns, and they've been mass incarcerated. Their image been fucking annihilated.
They've been redlined.
And they've been redlined. We've been blackballed. And on top of that, they took all the funding from our education. They put us in fucking public housing, and they took all the resources from us. How do you think people are supposed to act? It's white people who act way worse than black people throughout the country, but you don't see them though.
I get that. I'm not.
And plus, in your fucking country,
go to jail for a year.
You're from a third world
and
country.
you'll
Hold
know,
on. And you think Iran slums are better than the fucking black?
I don't know.
They might have more social services.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been there. But
in Iran?
Iran's an absolute,
fucking right.
Iran's an absolute
only
disaster
second people
right now. The only difference between Iran and black people is that they're more educated.
Okay, maybe.
But are they better off?
But that's only because they get government assistance. The government's implemented that.
Maybe
they do it for us. Listen, when we
get the fathers make them read. Maybe not the women. But
hold on, but you gotta have your fathers killed and mass incarcerated.
No, they all went to war and died.
It's not the same type of oppression though in other countries though. Like it's not systematic.
You're right.
So of course, if they gave us education and made us doctors, we'd be doctors and we'd be better.
Well, it's just like the thing that I don't know.
It's on a lot of layers.
I don't have an answer to
oppression.
Is that there has been oppression for so many other races,
such as what?
Irish, Jewish, Polish,
White,
Italian.
Hold on,
but it wasn't systematic.
I'm gonna say one thing. It was oppression with them.
And
it was.
And
you know what happened?
I don't know how
you know what happened?
it.
You know what happened in America?
They got called white. They got assimilated into whiteness as a way to
all pushed down,
out.
and they all opposed black people. The Irish became cops, opposers. The Jews became landlords.
What did the blacks
Italians
do?
became motherfucking
Why didn't the blacks do something?
Because they were black. They wasn't allowed to. The government,
I
the government didn't allow us to do nothing but be consumers and fucking laborers. That's it.
You think black people should have just bootstrapped themselves?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I'm saying I don't know.
Yeah.
Why wasn't there a story for that?
Because there's a whole systemic.
I get that. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But how come?
Because the government allowed that.
Every other, but there could have been a way. Maybe I'm saying
if they're killing all their leaders, man. Not if every avenue is presented for them.
It seems like
why didn't the Palestinians find a way? Like, why don't they find a way?
Why?
Why? Because they're fucking oppressed, man.
Yeah, yes, but they also made dumb mistakes along the way.
No, they didn't.
Because they killed all the leaders that didn't make dumb mistakes.
No.
The Israelis supported Arafat to some degree because they knew that he was going to lead them down.
If they had just taken, this is a different conversation.
No, it's not.
If they had taken international
deals
and taken the money,
the British.
Then they could have actually had
the British
deal.
interfered
in 1940 and 1948.
That's the British.
Israel.
The British
was given
ruined
something. Palestine was given something. Israel said, "I'll take it."
No. That wasn't right anyway.
It wasn't right.
The British had no right giving the Jews nothing. It wasn't their state. Rome ended that just thousands of years ago. So the Jews was done. In Jewish prophecy, they're not supposed to have a fucking state anyway
until their Messiah comes.